filtration in EIGRP with route maps. In our world, route maps is the equivalent of duct tape and baling wire. We can accomplish almost anything in the confines of being able to be selective as to which prefixes we advertise, which prefixes we filter, and how we're going to be able to handle those configurations. And what I want to do is I want to spend some time exploring this in our topology. Now, right now, let me go ahead and just clear this configuration out. Let's see, I'll get rid of this. And we need to make sure that we clean up our configuration on R1. So let's get rid of anything where we manipulate the administrative distance. Show run, section, router, EIGRP. And we want to get rid of this command right here, so we'll just go ahead and just re-enter all of this. And the command that I want to get rid of is going to be this distance command. So no distance, do show run, section, router, EIGRP, and we see that's gone. Our relationships have gone down. Then now we see our relationships have come back up. So if we got everything right, we should load share. So just do a trace route. So we'll test this using trace route to 11, 11, 11, 111, 111, 11. Actually, messed that up. 111. So we're load sharing R2, R3. So now the next part of this is what about 11.11.011? And we're load sharing here too. And just to go to the bottom end of the spectrum, we'll go ahead and hit 7, 11, and see if we are load sharing. So we can see right now everything that we're learning from R1, we're going to be doing load sharing in order to reach everything, because the administrative distance that we have matches, and we also now have the same feasible distance associated with our successors. We have two successors. Let's take a look at that. Show IP EIGRP topology 11.11.0.0/24, and what we see here is we have two entries in our table. We have two entries in our table, but if we go up to the very top of this list, what we're going to see here is that we have two successors. Why? Because the feasible distances matches. Both values are going to be in here for 2,195,744. Now, we want to change this behavior. So let's look at this. Now notice that I did a redistribution. So let's see, show IP route for 111, 111, 111.0, 255, 255, 2550, and we have two ways to get to it, so we're going to be load sharing to reach it. Now what I want to do is I want to manipulate this, and I want to manipulate this by virtue of the fact that I'm going to make changes to it. So let's look at the topology table before we do anything. Show IP EIGRP topology table for 111, 111, 111.0/24. All right, now let's take a look and see what we got here. Notice we have external data. We have a value that says the originating router was 172.16.11, so that's R1. So let's scroll down just a little bit here and we'll repeat that. And notice we're going to see this for both of these devices. Now notice it says AS number of the route is 0. Wasn't redistributed into our system from another autonomous system. It's just a physical interface that we're redistributing. Notice that we have an external protocol, and that external protocol it's connected. Now, I could have very easily redistributed this as an EIGRP prefix. In fact, let's entertain that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to R1, and I'm going to create a new interface. Do show run interface. Do show IP interface brief, E assigned, and I'm going to create interface 201. So interface LO 201. And I'm going to say IP address 101, 101, 101, 111. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this in a routing protocol. I'm going to run it in EIGRP. Let's take a look at that. Router, EIGRP named, address family IPv4. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new autonomous system. I'm going to say unicast, and I'm going to create autonomous system 101. Well, let's see. Changing from 10 to, hold on here. Address family IPv4. Now notice I went in here. Can I just type autonomous system 101? I can't. It's not going to allow me to enter it. Now I'm on R1. I'm operating in I'm operating in named mode. Do, show, run, section, router. So I'm named mode. I have an address family for IPv4 unicast autonomous system 10. But what happens, why can't I add this? Well, let's try something here. Let's say address family, IPv4, unicast, and it's not letting me do it. Well, what happens if I create another named? Let's say, we'll call this one IP expert. Address family, IPv4, autonomous system 101. Hey, we're cooking with gas now. It let us create it. So this is interesting. Let's pay very careful attention to what it is we're doing here. What I'm going to say network 101, 101, 101, 111, 0000, and that should start being advertised into our configuration. So let's take a look at this. Do show IP EIGRP 101 interface. And we see interface LO20. Now it doesn't do us any good over here on R2. Show IP route 101, 101, 101, 0. And it's not in our routing table in any way, shape, fashion, or form. That's because it's in two different EIGRP processes. One's running in the Autonomous System 101, the other is running in Autonomous System 10. So let's go ahead and modify this. Let's go over to R1, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to see, do I have a redistribute command here? Well, I don't. So let's take a look and see what we got going on. So first of all, let's get under the correct routing protocol. Redistribute, not there. Let's try topology. Where am I in here? So let's see. Let's do this. Let's go to the configuration that we know about. So we're going to go to router, EIGRP, named, address family, IPv4, autonomous system 10. Now let's look and see, do we have a redistribute here? How about a topology? Base. Redistribute. There we go. Now we'll look at what I can redistribute. So when we go in and we start looking at this, what is it that we can redistribute? Well, notice I can redistribute application, BGP, connected, EIGRP, ISIS. I have some configurations that we're not really going to talk about like ODR, IPv6, RIP static, but let's look at EIGRP. Notice I can say, well, I want to redistribute EIGRP 101 into this routing protocol. And what I'm going to do is I'm first of all going to say, that's it. So I'm going to redistribute everything that I have. So when I go over to R22 and I repeat this command, we should ultimately see something appearing in our table. So show IP route, EIGRP, and what I'm looking for is 101. And I don't see it. It's not showing up in my table. Cut back over to R1, see what's going on here. Do show, run, section, router, EIGRP, and what I'll do is I'm going to focus on named. So let's see here. We have redistribute EIGRP 101, And the question is are those prefixes actually going to start appearing? Let's go back over here and see if maybe it's just a matter of time. Show IP route, 101, 101, 101, 0. Still not in my routing table. Show IP route. Am I learning anything? Do I have any external prefixes at all on this device? Well, I've got 1111, but I'm not seeing anything for the prefix that I just originated or tried to originate. So let's see. We got redistribute EIGRP 101. Well, I mean, we should see show IP EIGRP 101 interfaces. Well, we can see that we've got this one in show IP protocols is going to tell me that I'm running EIGRP 10. Notice it gives me my metric, my version. Don't forget that we're running our named mode. And I should also have EIGRP 101. And 101 should have the network 10 or 101.101.101.11.111 as part of it. So the issue is show IP route, EIGRP 101. Do I have any prefixes? I don't have any prefixes in this routing table. Now that's odd. Show IP route, EIGRP 10. Notice I have prefixes that I'm learning, but I don't have anything that I am able to use here. So let's look at this. Show IP route, EIGRP 10, I have prefixes. EIGRP 101, nothing showing up in my table because these are connected. Show IP route connected. And what we're going to see here is the prefix of 101, 101, 101.111 is going to be connected. It's going to be a connected interface. Now, this is my problem. Notice show IP or show run pipe section router. Now, I've got these processes that I'm looking at. I'm going to go ahead and just take my drawing and I'm going to blow it up. I'm going to take the drawing out and I'm going to increase the size of my router configs. Because what we want to do is let's look at everything that we have here. Router EIGRP named. Now, when we look at this and we understand what's going on, notice what I did is I said redistribute connected and I gave it a metric and I used a route map. And I picked the interface, which was loopback 200, that I wanted to be able to advertise. Then what I did is I created EIGRP process 101, which we can see here, and I advertised the loopback for LO201 into that routing protocol. And then what I tried to do is I tried to come in here and take those prefixes and advertise them via redistribution into my autonomous system 10 under my router EIGRP named operation. Now, the question is, how does EIGRP work? Now, here's the problem. The moment that I engaged this route map to do my redistribution, what happened was I stopped my default behavior. My default behavior says, well, any interface that's running EIGRP should be an interface that I can actually do redistribution with. So what I want to do is I'm going to modify this. Let's take a look and see, can I take this command off? Let me go ahead and blow this all out. And what I want to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go to router EIGRP named base topology. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that configuration that I have here where I'm using the route map. So config T, plug it in there, go back to the end, say no, redistribute connected metric. And what I want to do now is let's see if this changes any of our behavior. Do clear IP EIGRP neighbors, reset my link, bring everything back up. We have a new adjacency, we have a second new adjacency, and now what we should see is our redistribution. So let's see if that actually did anything. Show, run, section router. So let's see, is that gone? Well, it's gone, but we still have the redistribute EIGRP 101. So let's see now, are we actually originating this prefix? Show IP route. Let's see if we have anything in here for 101, 101. And look here, we do. Now, what happened? Here's the situation. If I have a device, and I'm going to go ahead and bring my configuration back down here, and I'm going to bring my topology back. And here's the situation. I used a route map. I said, route map, anything that matched interface 200, I want to redistribute by using redistribute connected. Now, what actually happens here is this. What we saw was an interface that was physically connected was not being originated by EIGRP. And that was because we didn't tell it to. We told it to only use that one interface, and we left that default deny at the end of the statement such that it was not going to redistribute anything. Now, what ordinarily would happen is that if I had 3 interfaces on R19, and all of those interfaces were operating in EIGRP, and I did just a simple redistribute connected, or if I did just a regular straight advertise network such and such, what's going to end up happening is I'm going to communicate all of my physical interfaces that are participating in EIGRP, I'm going to advertise their prefixes, as well as passing on any routes that I learned from another EIGRP neighbor. The moment I went in and configured that route map, what happened was I broke that behavior. So now the route map says, well, ignore your normal operation, and what I'm going to do is I want you to redistribute whatever it is I told it to redistribute. I said only redistribute the interface that was connected that I specified, in this instance 200. Now when we look at this, what we did is we took that command off, but we don't have to take it off to make it work. So what we'll do is let's entertain this one more time. Take another look at this. Let's go to R1. And what I'll do is I'll blow my topology back up, or blow my config back up so we can see everything. And again, I want to look at this. Notice I have 101. It's on my table. Now, can I reach it? Ping 101, 101, 101, 111. And I have reachability to it. Now, the other part of this is when I come in and look at this, let's play with something here. So we've got 101 EIGRP. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do mutual redistribution. So I'm going to come in here to this process that I have of 100 or 101. So config T. I'm just going to paste this all in there. And I'm going to go to my configuration. I'm going to say network 1. See, what did I want to do? Oh, no. Topology. Topology base. I'm going to say redistribute my EIGRP process 10 into this config. So now let's look at this. Show IP route EIGRP 10 versus show IP route 101. Well, again, what we have is we have an issue here. We have show IP route EIGRP 101, and it's not learning any prefixes. So let's take a look and see what's going on. Show run section router, and let's look and see what we got going on here. So we redistributed 101 into autonomous system 10. We redistributed 10 into autonomous system 101. So now the question is how are we going to be learning these prefixes? Well, the issue is I can't really verify this here. So all I wanted to do is just have mutual redistribution. Let's go back over to R22 and do a trace route. Let's do a trace route to 101, 101, 101, 111. And notice we're doing our load sharing, 2 and 3. Now, let's take a step back from this. Show IP route EIGRP, no, show IP EIGRP, no, show IP route. And I want to look at specifically this one prefix. Now, in looking at this prefix, what I need to understand, or at least recognize, is I'm going to be doing load sharing. But what if I wanted to use filtration to stop the advertisement or allowing a particular advertisement in from or into my process? Now, I can use a number of tools. We've looked at access lists, extended and standard. We looked at IP prefix lists. We looked at administrative distance. But now what I want to do is I want to play around with this idea of my route map again. Now, I removed my route map configuration. Let's go back over to R1 and see if we can't fix this such that it's going to allow us to be able to advertise everything that we want. So right now, our issue is we have a route map, show route-map, and that route map is called redistribute connected. And it's only allowing me to redistribute the loopback interface of 200. Now, what I could do is I could come in here and I could modify this config. I can say config T, I can say route map, redistribute connected, and of the connected interfaces that I want to redistribute, I'm going to say sequence 20, or sorry, I'll say permit 20. I'm going to say match interface LO201. Now let's see what's going on now. Do show route-map. So now I have the two entries. I have sequence 10, loopback 200. I have sequence 20, loopback 200. So now let's go back up to this process. Do show run section router. All right, so what I'm going to do is instead of doing it this way, redistribute EIGRP 101, all I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here. First of all, I'm going to remove this process here. So we'll get rid of this. We'll say no router EIGRP IP expert. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say router EIGRP named. And I'm going to say redistribute topology base, redistribute connected, use the route map, RED connected. I'll even go ahead and give it a metric. I just use arbitrarily horrible metrics when I do this. Now let's take a look at what's going on CAT2. I'm sorry, on R22. Show IP route. What do we see here? We see all of our 11s. Now we see our 101 and we see our 111. Now, what I want to do is I want to use a route map. I want to use that same route map to modify this behavior. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a set parameter. We've matched, but what I'm going to do is on R1, I'm going to set a parameter for that second prefix. How do I do that? Well, what I'll do is I'll go to R1, and on this device, show route-map, I see I have this value right here. I have my route map, and I want to go back to permit 20. That's going to allow me to come in here and edit this process. I'm saying I want to match on this interface, but what I want to do now is I want to say set. So if I match on this, I want to be able to set a tag. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say set tag, and I'm going to assign it a value. Now the value that I'm going to assign it can either be dotted decimal or it can be a decimal format. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say I want to set this as, let's see, we will say 1000. Now, this should cause us to resync. Let's wait for it. Every time I say it should cause us to resync, it seems like it delays. Because the tag isn't going to cause us to resync. Let's go back over and take a look at R22. And let's do our show IP route. And let's take a look at what we can see here. Well, notice I'm load sharing for 101.101.101.0 and for 111.111.111.0. Now let's look at the specifics of this. Let's say show IP route 11.11.11.0. Nothing special. Let's take a look at 101.101.101.0. Notice what we have here. We have tags that are set. Now I set this all the way over on R1. If I go over and I take a look at R3, show IP route for 101, 101, 101, 0. Look, that tag follows it all the way through my infrastructure. Now this gets really interesting because now what I can do is I can use this tag to be able to say, I don't want to learn this prefix, or I can manipulate it based on the tag. Let's take a look at what we got going on here. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to R22 and I want to leverage this tag. So what first of all I'm going to say is I do not want to learn this prefix. So the way that I'm going to do that is I am going to come in and I'm going to use my good friend, the distribute list. So what I'm going to come up here is, first of all, I need to create a route map. I'm going to say route map match 1000. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say deny 10. Now my match criteria, up to this point we've only matched on interface IP addresses and prefix lists, but look here, I can match on a tag. Isn't that cool? I can come in here and I can say match on the tag value of 1000. So go ahead and hit enter. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a permit so that I'm going to pass all of my other traffic. So permit 20. Now how do I use this route map? Well, let's look at this. So in the confines of my configuration, I'm going to go to router EIGRP 10 and I'm going to say distribute-list. And from the distribute list, what am I going to do? I'm going to say distribute list using a route map, and I said that route map was going to be match underscore 1000. And what am I going to do? I'm going to say apply that inbound. And I can apply it to my actual process. So now let's take a look and see what we have going on now. Now, show route map. So the thing is here is notice it says that if it matches the tag 1000, I want to deny that traffic. Everything else is going to be permitted by my explicit permit. So now if I roll in here, take a look at this value, show IP route for 111.111.111.0/24. I have it in my routing table, and notice there is no metric set. And lastly here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say show IP route 101.101.101.0/24. And notice it's not in my routing table, nor do I have reachability for it. I mean, if it's not in my routing table and I don't have a default route to reach it, then I should not be able to hit it anyway. So what we've done is we've filtered this entire prefix out.